What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and this week I want to talk about if Rocksteady's newest game, Suicide Squad, potentially even Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, if this game could actually benefit from being only on next gen. And also talking about if this game will only be on next gen. It is a tough thing. It really does, honestly, I think, depend on when this game comes out in 2021. I feel like, hopefully, even though obviously it's been a rough 2020 so far with all the stuff that's gone on around the world that's moved games, in terms of games that are close to releasing, in terms of games that were far away from releasing that push them even further. 2021 hopefully will kind of be the year of all of our dreams. Batman, Harry Potter, for those that are interested in that, and then Rocksteady. I really do think that Rocksteady's game probably is in line with like middle of next year. Still, I mean, until things are continued to be delayed, which I have no doubt things will continue to delay themselves, as long as that doesn't impact them too heavily, which again, it may or may not, I do think this game probably comes out around Arkham Knight time, around end of June of 2021. That's always been kind of my prediction of Rocksteady's game. Now, when talking about next gen versus this gen, I think it's still a game that would probably or could probably be the whole you get the free upgrade. We see a lot of different games guaranteeing that, if you buy it on PS4, you buy it on Xbox One, that you'll get the next gen version when you upgrade. Okay, when you get the next generation console, you'll get the next generation version of the game, which would be a pretty darn improved version of that game. The thing that I want to focus on here is basically, would being on next gen really help a game like this? Now, it's tough, and I do want to have videos on this in the future. And as always, if you guys have ideas of what you want to see, from the Suicide Squad game, from me, let me know in the comments. I'll absolutely make videos on it. But it is tough because we don't necessarily know what kind of game it is. I feel like we're ultimately going to have to decide, or obviously they're going to decide for us when they tell us, but is it going to be you play as a Suicide Squad member? Is it you play as a person who kind of gets inducted into the Suicide Squad? You know what I mean? Like a create your own player kind of thing? Is it a game that's very, very focused on multiplayer? Is it a game that's not focused on multiplayer but has a multiplayer aspect to it? Kind of even like, if you guys have watched my Batman video, in fact, I think even the one I made yesterday, where I said, well, do you do it where it's a GTA thing where you can pick your characters, or kind of like your characters are doing things in the world and you can kind of swap over to them? Is it that? Will they have a lobby of like a whole online world where you can just go around and free roam as these different Bat family members and other people can jump in? I feel like if there was going to be a game that actually did do that, which again, I don't think the Batman game is going to have that, I think Rocksteady's potentially could. So that, in complete honesty, when I talk about, how much next gen, say, could help out a game like Rocksteady's game, I think it is enormous because of all the power, all the new new possibilities that you probably couldn't do on current gen that you could do on next gen. This is a game that I think if you were to have you can play single player, you're going to be able to play as multiple members of the Suicide Squad, but then also there's a multiplayer, or maybe it's, I mean, because there honestly is so many options. It could be like a Marvel's Avengers thing where basically it's like a Destiny kind of thing. Like, is that how they do it? Or again, do they have it kind of like what I said, where you play single player, you can play as the different members, and then they have a online lobby where you play in the same like open world. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, kind of like a GTA Online, but you pick the member that you want to play as. So you're not going to have 15 Supermans, roaming around, right? If it was like a Justice League, you're not going to have like 10 Harley Quinns roaming around. Like, there's going to be diversity there. I feel like if there was a game that was going to do something like that, it wouldn't be Batman. It would actually be a Rocksteady's game. And again, what could next gen do to help that? I think it can do, honestly, a lot. The thing is, like the situation is with honestly all of these games, is do you limit yourself to just doing next gen? I feel like we haven't gotten enough information or enough kind of evidence to suggest that games are only going to be on next gen. So I know a large a grouping of the people that watch me are on the boat where they want it to be current gen games. But what I will say, well, one, again, I do support the idea that you can make it on this generation and that it could be accessible here. Not everybody's going to get next gen. We know a game even like Far Cry, right? Far Cry 6 was leaked just yesterday. Rumor has it that's releasing at like the end of February, and it's also going to be on cross-gen. So now we have games in February that we know are still going to be on current generation. So we'll have to see again how far does it go in the year where these games are still going to do that? Are we going to get to Harry Potter time? Are we going to get to this game's time where they'll be able to do that? That's the first thing. But the second thing, to kind of go against that, to kind of go against the grain, and again, I know a lot of you guys do want this game on current gen. The thing is, with the potential of what this game can be, and I do want it to be as big of a game and as powerful, and a game that just does everything that we kind of want it to do. Obviously, it's not going to hit every one of our expectations, but in order to do that, honestly, you got to give it as much power, in my opinion, as you can give it, especially because, again, in all honesty, at the end of the day, I really do think this is a game in some way or another that's going to be heavily focused on the multiplayer aspect, on handling multiple people playing it. Again, for better or worse. I mean, it could end up happening where the game completely falls apart because of the idea that you have to play with other people, or that it's a game meant to be played with other people, right? I don't want that. I mean, as I've talked about in the past, I would prefer kind of a single-player game, maybe have a multiplayer aspect on the side, but I feel like Rocksteady's probably not going in that direction. We'll have to see. At the end of the day, we'll have to see. But if they are going to do kind of what I don't want them to, what I would kind of hesitate on them doing, I think you got to give them the most that they can, take on in order to be able to do it. I feel like next-gen consoles would be able to help them insanely more than current-gen. However, with the caveat that if you do next-gen, yeah, it might help the power. It may make it easier. You may be able to come up with gimmicks or like new things in terms of being able to have a multiplayer experience that you would never have been able to do before. At the same time, you are limiting it because can you have all the players that would be playing it on current-gen, right? Would you be losing players? Ultimately, we'll have to see because it's going to be hard. You're going to have games, I feel like, more and more as the months go on, where they're going to come out on current gen, they're going to come out on next gen, and it's going to become kind of increasingly more apparent where it's like, if you just came out on next gen only, you probably could have put more into this part of the game or more into that, or overall would have been a better product. You know what I mean? I think it's tough because we haven't gotten there yet, but I feel like we're going to get to some sort of limbo period in the middle of 2021 where games are still coming out on current gen and next gen, where it's like, again, if you only came out on next gen, you may have been able to do this, or you may have been able to do that. And as time goes on more and more and more, eventually the switch will happen, but you may have games that kind of linger. A game, honestly, like an example of like Batman, or even like an even kind of worse in terms of quality example of like Watch Dogs Legion. So like Watch Dogs was supposed to come out this past November, but it's probably going to come out like this November. And so that's a full year. Now it's in like next gen territory. And because it's coming out on next gen as well as current gen, we may expect it to have some sort of quality to it. You know what I mean? Like some sort of just a level to it. And it may not actually reach it because it was supposed to come out sooner. So things like that, honestly, that situation may end up happening for games like Batman, for games like Harry Potter, for games like Rocksteady, their Suicide Squad games that were kind of in that limbo period where maybe they could have came out only on current gen, but a lot of things went wrong and it took them forever to make, whatever their reasoning may be. I think if you had to give me the choice, which one I would prefer, I would say from the community perspective, I could see and I would want a game that would work on both console or both generation like leaps, right? Where you could play it, there could be like cross play, you'd be able to do stuff like that. At the same time, to guarantee me the best game, like the best game that we could possibly get from the Suicide Squad, I feel like you'd probably want to go next gen only. So ultimately, we'll have to see. Again, nothing is set in stone here, and honestly, I do think we may end up getting something from this in terms of like that DC fandom. If we get a teaser trailer for this Suicide Squad game, I do feel like they'll say 2021 on it. I feel like that's something they'll do, and then with that, we may get more info, maybe even like right away, that this is a game that's is going to be cross play or cross generation. Whatever they're going to say, they may say it right there at that DC fandom. So we'll definitely get answers to these questions relatively quick. We're only around a month and a week away, so definitely picking up steam. Guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What would you prefer? Would you prefer this game to only be on next gen? Would you prefer this game to only be on current gen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up, and check out our Discord server if you guys have not yet already. The link for that will be in the description below as well. Let me know, as always, if you guys want additional Rocksteady videos, if you guys want me to talk about a specific aspect of the Suicide Squad game, definitely let me know. I'll credit you, I'll shout you out, and I'll make that video as soon as I can, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.